People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist.
Novel adaptation, Speechless Doctors, The Silhouettes, Chance the Rapper, Beyond the Martial Realm, Scary Stories in the Rain, Las Vegas Judge Attacked by Felon full video. The Eagles, Las Vegas Judge Attacked by Felon, Niall Horan, Las Vegas Judge Attacked by Felon Reaction, Lord Peter Views the Body, Team Niall, The Creepy Fox, Watch The Voice, The Voice, The Voice. Season 24, The Voice. Season 23, The Voice New Season, The Voice on NBC, The Rubber, The X Factor.
Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from Europe.
Before diving into the drama, make sure to like and subscribe for the latest Hollywood gossip. As Sunny Hostin sat across from renowned genealogist Henry Louis Gates Jr. on Finding Your Roots, ready to uncover her family's past, she had no clue. The revelation ahead would upend her world. Instead of discovering a history of struggling immigrants or oppressed minorities, Sunny learned that her ancestors were slave owners. Yes, the woman who has passionately championed reparations and denounced the legacy of slavery found out her own family directly profited from the system she spent years criticizing. Her reaction? Shock, discomfort, and an undeniable moment of awkwardness.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
She blinked, clearly struggling to process the revelation. I didn't think my family was originally from Spain or slaveholders, she stammered, as if the words were foreign to her. For a moment, the room was weighed down by an awkward silence, so heavy it felt like time had frozen. Being the professional she is, Sunny tried to recover, muttering something about how this would be an interesting tidbit for her kids to learn. But let's face it, the damage was already done. It didn't take long for Fox News' Greg Gutfeld to jump on the irony. If irony had a trophy, Greg would have claimed it with ease. He kicked off his segment with a punchline that landed perfectly. Sunny Hostin's ancestors were slave owners. That's like finding out a vegan secretly owns a barbecue joint. The audience burst into laughter as Greg dove into the layers of hypocrisy, leaving no stone unturned.
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Like you said, and it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
Sunny has often been quick to call out others for their past mistakes, but when it came to her own family history, Greg Gutfeld pointed out a glaring double standard. Next time Sunny pulls the race card on The View, someone's going to remind her, and at least we're not slave owner racists, he joked. The laughs didn't stop there, but Greg also highlighted something more serious: Sunny's lack of accountability. Instead of offering an apology or reflecting deeply on her family's troubling past, she brushed it off as just another fact of life. Naturally, the revelation sent social media into a frenzy. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok erupted with reactions, many laced with humor. One tweet quipped, Sunny Hostin finding out her family were slave owners is the plot twist of the year. Memes flooded timelines, including a viral mock-up of Sunny with the caption, "Reparations? Let me write that check to myself real quick." While some fans defended her, arguing she shouldn't be held accountable for her ancestors' actions, others were less forgiving. "It's not about blaming her for what her ancestors did," one commenter wrote. "It's about the hypocrisy of shaming others while ignoring the skeletons in your own closet." Greg didn't stop at Sunny, using the moment to critique the broader issue of identity politics, suggesting it oversimplifies deeply complex—
Quote, "a lens of empathy. Debate highlights ableism in politics. Pat Fetterman can do for disability what Obama did for race."
Say what?
See, because when all else fails, use identity politics. But MSNBC's Lawrence O'Donnell went a step further.
"This is what happens when you focus so much on race," Greg remarked. "You lose sight of the individual, the context, the nuance, and eventually it backfires, just like it did for Sunny." He underscored the importance of personal responsibility, adding, "It's not about who your ancestors were, it's about what you do today." For years, Sunny has been vocal in lecturing others on morality and accountability. Perhaps now, Greg suggested, it's time for her to take a long, hard look in the mirror. This situation raises important questions about historical accountability. Should someone like Sunny, who frequently condemns others for the actions of their ancestors, be held to the same standard? Or is it enough to simply acknowledge the past without allowing it to define who you are today?
These elites are so isolated, they've forgotten that most Americans don't get paid to sit in a comfy chair pontificating about everything all day. Nope, some of us are cameramen whose names I don't know. But maybe one day when we finally strip away this phony race war, it will finally expose this elite mentality. And we'll find out Sunny is just like Marie Antoinette, except she says, "Let me eat cake."
Greg's panel had a field day with this revelation. One co-host joked, "If Sunny's been shaming descendants of slave owners, does she now have to shame herself?" Another added, "It's funny how caught up she is in identity politics, when she didn't even know who she really was." While the internet had its fun at Sunny's expense, some saw this as a missed opportunity. Instead of dismissing it as just another fact of life, she could have used the moment to spark a deeper, more meaningful conversation about history, identity, and the complexities of her own family's past. Imagine if she'd said, "I've learned something surprising about my family, and it's making me rethink how I approach these topics." Instead, there was just a shrug and a quick pivot. Even Sunny's co-hosts on The View seemed unsure how to react. Whoopi Goldberg, known for her sharp wit, may have been holding back a jab like, "Sunny, do you want me to get you coffee, or should we ask your slaveholding ancestors for a
I make fun of The View a lot, but that's only because they keep talking. Those hens are always clucking. They get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, and then I get to say stupid stuff for an hour every day, except on purpose. But every now and then, one of those dingbats inadvertently says something that reveals modern liberal thought so perfectly, it deserves further study. You know, like a weird serpent that washed up on the beach and you want to poke it with a stick.
At its core, this isn't just about Sunny. It's a cautionary tale about the pitfalls of self-righteousness and the need for humility. History is messy, complicated, and often uncomfortable, and no one is entirely free from its shadow. That's why sensitive topics like these should be approached with grace, self-awareness, and a willingness to learn. As Greg Gutfeld aptly said, "When you spend your life looking for racism everywhere, eventually it finds you." And for Sunny, it was. Sitting right there in her family tree? What's next for Sunny Hostin? Will she confront this irony head-on or carry on as if nothing happened? Only time will tell. One thing's certain, though, this story isn't fading anytime soon, and perhaps the next time she lectures America on history, she'll think twice before throwing stones from her glass ancestral